powers to issue a fine there. So that is how we handle issues of bylaws.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. I had drawn your attention to paragraphs 19 and 20 of your statement, Chief Mapiyeye, and I highlighted that you express an opinion in paragraph 19, and I was inviting you to share that opinion with the commissioners.
Thank you, SC. Municipal police service, however, do require additional powers to be able to effectively enforce the law and combat crime, and to be able to conduct certain other functions of the department's core function. Much as we do not have these investigative powers, from our side as Metro Police, we feel that should we be capacitated with much more powers, we can do much better. An example, when we arrest a drunken driver, once we have completed all our investigation, having have drawn blood, we take that accused to the police station. That is where our job ends. Now, we feel that if we're to be given additional powers, we can be much more productive. You arrest a drunken driver, you hand him over to the police station. The police have got an avalanche amount of work. It might not be their priority to take those blood samples to the lab because they are swamped with a lot of other activities. But if it was us, because this is close to our hearts, we will be able to move up to speed with taking those blood samples to the lab and getting the results. Because from experience, what one has seen, you arrest a drunken driver, you hand over the blood sample at the police station. At times, you don't even get the feedback what happened with that blood box. At times, they don't even arrive at the lab. You will see with the amount of our officers who will be called back to court to come and testify. It's very minimal officers who will then come back. But if we're doing that by ourselves, we feel that if we had at least additional powers, we can do much better to benefit our community and reduce the level of crime and safety in our cities.
Having then expressed such an opinion and I guess desire, you do, however, clarify at paragraph 20 what you must not be understood to mean by that opinion. At page 7.
I agree, yes, I see that regardless of what we are indicating that we need additional powers, it doesn't mean that, or in fact, our officers need to be trained on whatever powers have been given to them and the limitation thereof. So much as we want or we need additional powers, but we need to exercise those in accordance to the approved laws of the country.
Thank you. Still at page 7.
Listen to the MPD, and that can be in a separate document.
Indeed. We would consider that because, as Chief Mapiyeye says, it was just an opinion based on frustrations on the ground. So perhaps it might be appropriate if a further interrogation of those challenges and how best they believe could be overcome by conferring more powers, if he applied his mind to that, to then come back with a sort of a statement where proposals are set out, both to identify the nature of the power and the extent of the power, with reference perhaps to those powers as already obtained with members of the SAPS. So we shall consider that, and perhaps not only with Chief Mapiyeye, but with all the EMPD police officers that will be testifying. We'll try and see if we can produce a joint statement in that regard. Thank you. Chief Mapiyeye, you understood our new assignment now. We're going to work on a second statement to address the issues that Commissioner Baloyi has raised.
I will note that.
Thank you. I was drawing your attention then to, still at page 7, to a new topic that you start. You have headed that topic, challenges within the EMPD. You deal with these issues for the next couple of pages. And I would like to invite you to take us through the contents of that chapter, the challenges within the EMPD, from page 7.
Thank you, SC. On page 7, challenges within the EMPD. Section 64C of SAPS Act bestow upon the Chief of Police of a municipal police service the power to appoint, recruit members for the service. The section provides as follows: the executive head shall, subject to this act, national standards and directive of the Chief Executive Officer of the municipality, exercise control over the municipal police service, and shall. The word executive head refers to the Chief of Police in the environment of the city.
To be more precise, you mean the phrase executive head?
That is correct.
Thank you.
And the Chief Executive Officer, that is the accounting officer, who is a city manager in a municipality. But these responsibilities are assigned to the municipal police service, to the executive head. Be responsible for maintaining an impartial, accountable, transparent and efficient municipal police service. Subject to the applicable laws, be responsible for recruitment, appointment, promotion, transfer of members of the municipal police service. Ensure that traffic policing service by the municipalities are prejudicially affected by the establishment of municipal police service.
Are not prejudicially affected. You skipped the
Thank you
not.
very much, Chair. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Are not prejudicially affected by the establishment of the municipal police service. Be responsible for the discipline of the municipal police service, either personally or through a member of municipal police service designated by him or her for that purpose. Represent the municipal police service on every local police coordinating committee established in terms of Section 64K within the area of jurisdiction of the municipality. Perform such duties as may from time to time be imposed upon him or by her by the Chief Executive Officer.
You then proceed in the context of the provisions of Section 64, capital C. You then speak to what actually transpired within the EMPD in Ekuruleni. You deal with that in paragraph 22.
Okay, on page 8, that's bullet number 22, it states that the city manager of Ekuruleni, or the ex-city manager of Ekuruleni, that was Dr. Imogen Mashazi, usurped all the powers set out in Section 64C of SAPS Act and assume the responsibility of recruiting, promoting police officers within EMPD, notwithstanding my consistent protestations. That is the earlier responsibilities of the executive head. You will find that the city manager will exercise those responsibilities. Meanwhile, those are responsibilities which are assigned to the executive head of the department, which is the chief of police. Can I continue?
Please continue. You indicate thereafter that in so usurping the powers of the executive head, she was working in concert with certain members, and you list them at paragraph 23.
Yeah. In this regard, she was supported by in taking those responsibility of the executive head, who is the chief of police. She was supported in the department by the following HODs. That HOD, Human Resource, who is currently Ms. Linda Kasheka. The second one will be HOD, Legal and Corporate, which is Advocate Kemi Biari. And the third one, that will be a Deputy Chief of Police, reporting to me, that is Deputy Chief of Police, Operations and Specialized Services, Brigadier Julius Dr. Mkwanazi. So the powers of the Chief of Police, you will find that they were then exercised by those mentioned other individuals, which it is not their right to can do that.
And was this done with or without your knowledge? I'm just trying to understand, when you say they recruited and appointed police officers, did they do it with your knowledge or without your knowledge?
Commissioner, when we go a little bit further, this document, I think I will be able to clarify how certain promotions happened without my knowledge.
Just to follow up on that question and the undertaking you make to Commissioner Khumalo, are you suggesting that those promotions that you will address in the fullness of time happened in contravention of Section 64C that you deal with at paragraph 21?
That is correct, I see.
Thank you. Chair, I see it's almost 11, but we had a late start to this morning. I forgot to ask if it impacts
Let us continue until quarter past 11.
Okay. I shall do so. You make a point at paragraph 24 regarding an appointment in respect of Brigadier Mkwanazi. And you say that he was purportedly appointed as the Deputy Chief of Police Operations and Specialized Services. You see that? You indicate that you deal with this aspect further on in your statement. My question is, can you briefly indicate to the commissioners why you say that he was purportedly appointed? He was, as if you question that appointment or the validity thereof. Yes.
Commissioners, this brigadier or director, Julius Dr. Mkwanazi, he was a director, operations and specialized services, appointed as such.
Chief Mapiyeye, is it possible for you to pull the mic closer to you, or you sit closer to the mic, one of the two, please?
That's done, Commissioner.
And Chief Mapiyeye, my apologies for interrupting. As you respond to my question, please do not go into too much detail, because you do deal with this aspect later in your statement, and we will deal with it then. I just wanted a general overview of why you say it's a purported appointment.
Okay.
Or perhaps if it works best for your evidence, I can park that question and we will deal with it when we get to the relevant chapter. Would that work better perhaps?
I will appreciate that.
Okay,
SC.
I'm happy to do so. Then we'll proceed to page 9, and at page 9 you have a subheading, and at page 10 you have a different subheading. And your first subheading at page 9 is Head of Department, Human Resources, Linda Kasheka. This is the person you suggested at paragraph 23, that she, in concert with others and the then city manager, usurped your powers. Is that correct?
That is correct, SC.
And you deal with those issues from paragraph 25. Can you take the commissioners through that?
Thank you, SC. Commissioners, on bullet number 25, that's on page 9, I think during September, October 2023, the contract of a deputy chief of police, who was Mr. Goodman Mzolo, was nearing its end. I think it was ending end of November 2023. And then I felt it important to initiate the process of appointing another deputy chief of police once Mr. Mzolo vacate the position, because it is a very crucial position which one cannot neglect to fill. As I indicated earlier, that this is the face of metropolis in the city. HR, they've assisted me with the initiation of the process to advertise the position. Interviews dates were set. And then the process of shortlisting an interview took place during November 2023. To my memory, I think we had about 2 candidates who were shortlisted. That was okay. That was Dr. Julius Mkwanazi and my staff officer, who is Ivan Duplessis.
Yes.
The process of interviews were concluded. We were then awaiting the other process to unfold. Because once you have gone through the interview process, we usually send one or two of those candidates for competency compliance certificate.
Perhaps before you get to that point, if I could refer you to paragraph 26, you say that there was a proposal or a suggestion to extend the tenure of, is it director or chief, Mr. Mzolo?
That is correct.
And in this regard, you reference annexure JM5. JM5 is in the big file at page 45, the annexures file. It starts at page 45.
Okay, thank you very much, SC.
Now, just to confirm, if you go to page 46, no, let me start at 45. I see the subject line reads, extension of the employment contract, Mr. Goodman Mzolo, Deputy Chief of Police Operations and Specialized Services in the Ekuruleni Metropolitan Police Department. You confirm that's how it reads, correct?
Is it on the big file?
In the big file at page 45.
Page 45.
It's under the tab marked JM5.
I've got it, SC.
And at your paragraph 26, you indicate that you received this document from the HOD Human Resources, right? And you state at paragraph 26, this she did without prior discussion with me. Is that correct?
That is correct, SC.
Can I then invite you to page 46 for a clarification? Because at page 46, after the recommendation, which is to extend Mr. Mzolo's contract, what's reflected on the document, and it's got space for 3 signatures, but none appended. But that document reflects Mr. Isaac Mapiyeye, Chief of Police, as the person recommending. And yet at your paragraph 26, you say that she requested that an extension be effected. Can you explain that?
That is correct, SC. Commissioners have indicated that the powers to appoint, discipline, and transfer rest with the Chief of Police. After we have concluded the process of the shortlisting and the interview process of that position of a Deputy Chief of Police Operations, I received a letter from HR, HOD HR, who is Linda Kashega, where she has done a motivation to extend a contract of the Deputy Chief of the then Deputy Chief of Police, Mr. Mzolo. It is not a responsibility. She must just run HR. I know my profession. I know the people I need there. So I'm the one, if I wanted to extend that contract, I'm the one who should have initiated that process. So I'm trying to show how much other people have got interest into my department. So they've got, she had nothing to worry herself about. She must worry about HR matters, not about catching criminals, because I know the people I want to deal with my challenges in the department.
Now, looking at JM5, can you turn to page 46? Am I just understanding correctly that JM5 originates from the HOD of HR? It's not a document you prepared. Am I understanding you correctly?
SC, are we talking about the document which is written number 45?
Yes,
the memorandum.
JM5 at page 45. At the top right-hand corner is the page number.
JM5 I've got.
All right. I see at page 45, it's addressed to Imogen Mashazi, City Manager. Right?
That is correct, SC.
Then it indicates that it's from Miss Linda Klasheka, HOD, Human Resources.
That is correct, SC.
Understanding then what's reflected there, I invited you to page 46 after item 3, recommendations. Do you see where I'm reading?
That is correct, SC.
And I see that the first signature there is intended to be by Mr. Isaac Mapiyeye, Chief of Police. Then that is you.
That is
and it
correct,
suggests
SC.
that the person who signs there would either recommend or not recommend.
That is correct, SC.
And then, only thereafter, does the HOD Human Resources sign to approve or not to approve. And lastly, then the city manager, according to this document.
I could see that, SC.
Yes. So my question to you, I guess, is it correct for this document to suggest that you are recommending the appointment based on what you are testifying here today? If you signed that document, what would the meaning thereof be?
As I've indicated earlier, commissioners, that it's irrelevant that she wanted me to recommend or approve. It is my responsibility to appoint police officers in my department.
Yes.
So she had nothing to do with the extension of a contract of a deputy chief of police.
Yes.
Are you saying, so that I understand you, are you saying you did not initiate the process to extend the contract of the deputy, and that you did not ask her to prepare this document?
Very clear, I understand you, Commissioner. It is true. I did not initiate this process of compiling this memorandum, and I was also not consulted when she prepared this memorandum. So I could not be part of someone prepare food which I don't eat and just come and dish for me.
I take it then you never signed it. You never signed on page 46, or a copy similar to this.
That is correct, SC, Commissioner. Though I also submitted a memorandum in response to this letter she sent to me, which is on page 47.
Yes.
Where I've indicated there on that memorandum.
It's I apologize, Chief Mapiyeye. It's a fairly short letter. At paragraph 26 of your statement, you say, I did not support the proposed extension, right?
That is correct.
And then you refer us to page 47, which is also part of JM5.
That is correct, SC.
And you just responded to Commissioner Khumalo to indicate that that was your response to the proposed extension as appears from pages 45 to 46, correct?
That is correct, SC.
I'm saying that then, is that your signature at the bottom of 47, page 47, above your name, IJ Mapiyeye?
That is my signature, Commissioner.
It's a very short, I think, letter, Can you just quickly just read it into the record? Thank you.
The heading commissioners will say extension of employment of contract, Mr. Goodman Mzolo, Deputy Chief of Police, Operations and Specialized Services in the Ekuruleni Metropolitan Police Department. The above matter refers, attached request is not supported. The attached request is not supported due to the following reasons. The matter was never discussed with me. The employee did not even apply for the position as it was recently advertised. Because I've explained that we have, by that time, have concluded the shortlisting and interview processes. Number 3, I further state that we have recently conducted interviews and made recommendations. Most of the challenges which resulted in me being sent on special leave emanated from the leadership style and the division of the same employee.
And I see that your letter is dated the 8th of November 2023.
That is correct, SC.
Before
yes,
you continue, Mr. Lo, so what should one make of the letter at 45 that is recommending the extension? Does it mean that someone else put together this document and then put in your name as the person who moved for the extension, in the hope that you would sign recommending that there be an extension, but you never signed and instead wrote the letter that you've just read now? Is that the full picture?
That is correct, Commissioner. It was prepared by someone who is Linda Dasheka, the HOD of Human Resource.
And just to be clear, based on what you say again at your paragraph 26, you say the HOD Human Resources requested the city manager that the incumbent's contract be extended, right? And then you introduce this letter that is from page 45.
Yeah, I request that we take the adjournment now, and let's resume at 20 past 11. Let's adjourn.
It's 20 past 11, Chair, in 3 minutes, so might as well go to the door and come back.
What did I want to say? 25 to 12.
25 to, thank you.
Let's adjourn.
we suggest perhaps you switch on both mics, because depending on which direction you look, then your voice drops. So you have the one mic on. Can you switch on the one to your right?
This
Yes.
one is on. I'm gonna use
I want
this
to keep both on, because sometimes you look one direction and then, you're not as audible. So perhaps keep both of them on facing you. Then whichever direction you look, we don't lose you.
Understand this.
Okay. Before we broke for tea, we were dealing with an extra JM5, starting from page 45 of the big file. Can you go back to that file?
I am there, see.
And you had read into the record your response to the request for the extension of Mr. Mzolo's contract, and your response is at page 47, correct?
That is correct, see.
The question I think I had asked you, I had to stand down because of the tea break, is as follows. In light of your response at page 47, was Mr. Mzolo's contract ever extended?
See, it was not extended.
It was not extended. We are dealing with the issue of interference in the exercise of your powers and your after the failed attempt to extend the contract of Mr. Mzolo, and you speak there of a letter you addressed to her of the 13th of April, 2024. And that letter, according to paragraph 27 of your statement, you say is JM6 of your annexures. That JM6 starts at page 48, if you could turn to that annex. As you deal with this at paragraph 27 of your statement.
In short, SC, I think early 2024, around about February, March, there were positions which were advertised. To my dismay, I realized that a deputy chief of police, Julius Mkwanazi, was running with the process of recruitment and promotion of municipal police members without my involvement.
Yes.
So I've picked this up, then I had to write to the HOD, Human Resource, to explain to her that they can't do what they are doing. I must be part of that process because I have to overall control Metropolis and avoid any other irregularities which might take place in the process of recruitment. So on high level, I think that's how this letter was worded.
Yes. And that is, in summary, the content of your letter at page 46, JM6. At page 46 of the big file. What you've just stated is a summary of the content of. Oh, apologies, 48. I'm corrected. I got my pages wrong. I do apologize. 48.
Thank you, Asi. 48,
I apologize.
yes.
Yes. So I was saying what you've just stated now is a high-level summary of the content of the letter we are referencing at page 48.
That is correct, SC.
And that was your advice to the HOD.
That was correct, SC.
What was her response to this letter, if any?
She did not respond, but what I've observed, the processes of interviews in my department continued between herself and the Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi.
Yes. Overleaf then, in your statement at page 10, you introduce a new subheading, Deputy Chief of Police Julius Dr. Mkhwanazi.
Okay, Silo, sorry to do this. Can
Yes,
we just
sir.
go back to this letter? I'm worried that we are leaving it without the necessary context.
Absolutely.
Chief Mapiyeye is it Brigadier Mkhwanazi? Is his title Brigadier?
That is correct.
You-
Currently, he is now
You are saying he was running with the process of promotion and recruitment of officers. But who had authorized him to run with the process of promotion and recruitment of officers?
Thanks, Commissioner. With this memo, I've addressed to HOD, Human Resource, and CC, the City Manager. I was trying to stop what I was seeing in the department between the HOD, Human Resource, and Julius, because I cannot sit in my office and hear from a subordinate who will tell me that tomorrow I'm going to an interview. If I were just to expand on this, commissioners, the Metro Police comprises of just above 3,000 police members. Some of them have been in the system for more than 30, 40 years. Constable. Now, I remember this incident very well, where an officer who was a year old in the system saying to me, "Hey, sir, I'm going to the interviews tomorrow." I didn't frown or show the officer that I'm not so comfortable with that, because I believe that we need to reward some of our hard-working officers, because we've got a lot of officers who are really dedicated in the job. I'm not saying newly appointed officers must not be promoted, but experience also counts a lot. So it gives me this, I was so uncomfortable when I was seeing these things happening. Then I have to write to the HOD, Human Resource, that I want to be part and parcel of this process of recruitment.
But do you know who had authorized Mkhwanazi to initiate and continue with that process? Or can he do it at all? Let's just maybe ask the question differently. Can he do that?
Thanks, Commissioner. He must be assigned by myself. Whoever from my department, he must have been assigned by myself to work closer with Human Resource in order to facilitate these processes.
In this case, you say you had not assigned him.
That is correct. I did not assign him to be there.
Thank you, Advocate.
Thank you, Commissioner. And in fact, then that leads us well into your page 10, where you specifically then deal with the conduct of Brigadier Mkhwanazi in the context of what we're talking about. starting at paragraph 29 of your statement.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. I think on page 10, paragraph number 29, Brigadier Mkhwanazi, with the support of the city manager, that is Dr. Imogen Mashazi, has over the years brazenly disregarded my authority as the Chief of Police of EMPD. Julius, as a Deputy Chief, was always appointed to act as a Chief of Police whenever I'm absent or on leave. Meanwhile, there were other senior Deputy Chief of Police who could have been considered to act. Julius was appointed on the 1st of December 2023. So he was still new to can resume even the processes of overseeing the running of the recruitment process in the department. During such acting appointments, he conducted recruitments, effected various promotions, and set up panels to conduct interviews of candidates.
Chief Mapiyeye, can I just find out on that? Surely there's at the beginning of a period, say a financial year, or at some point at least, where the head of the department, you in this case, would have identified what positions you have that need to be filled. You would have identified what promotions and transfers and all of that. Does that happen in this case, in your department?
Thanks, Commissioner. Issues of recruitment or promotions, they happen as and when there are vacancies. And these specific ones, it happened where we had promotional positions during that time. It's not always that we will always find ourselves having promotions. But this specific one happens at times when I'm absent or I was on leave for a very short space of time. Julius will be running very quick with the issues of appointing panel members who will sit at those interviews. Ironically, in one of the panels, being the Chief of Police, he appointed me as well to go and sit in another panel, regardless that he was acting. But he appointed me. And when I will go and query to my principal, she will tell me that I have given Julius Mkhwanazi the roles and responsibility to take over the promotional positions. So which I wasn't okay with it. At some stage I wrote even a letter explaining my dissatisfaction that I am the accounting officer of EMPD. So that's how things will at times happen.
To your knowledge, did the city manager appoint acting people across the departments? Is she the one that exercised that power, and not just to your department? Would she appoint in other departments as well?
That is correct, Commissioner. She does appoint HODs to act in their respective departments. But in my department, I've indicated that I had other deputy chiefs who are highly experienced, who have been there and understanding the system. But Julius, being newly appointed in 2023 December, already during May the 6th, from the 6th up to the 17th of May, this is what I've got on record for now. From the 6th to the 17th of May, he was acting as a chief of police. So he will quickly run those processes, and appointing me, whilst I have raised these challenges, that I did not want to see people being appointed whose positions were not even advertised. And this happened in this process, that people were appointed and that position was never advertised. So it's irregular to appoint someone to a position which was not advertised.
Chief, further to your response to Commissioner Baloyi, you deal with these appointments over that relatively short period, you say between May to July 2024, at paragraph 32, at page 10 of your statement. So in part response to your questions, you might want to deal with the contents of paragraph 32.
Thank you, SC. Thank you, Commissioners. On paragraph 32, from the period May to July 2024, Mkhwanazi made 55 appointments or promotions without my involvement, which included directors, deputy directors, chief superintendents, and inspectors. I attach Mark JM7, a list of all those appointments. As I've said earlier on, that most of these candidates did not satisfy the requirements of the respective advertised post. In some instances, the post some were appointed to were never advertised. The appointments were in large part drawn from the members of the unit which Brigadier Mkhwanazi headed.
You reference Annexure JM7 at paragraph 32, and that appears in the big file at page 50. And at page 50 is a table of appointments you say were effected by Brigadier Mkhwanazi in the period May to July 2024. Is that correct?
That is correct, SC.
You wanted to clarify, insofar as JM7 is concerned, a little aspect for the commissioners. If you look at JM5, there is an entry in the first line of an appointment of a director. It's colored in green. It's the appointment of Director Dion Singh. Now, in the context of what you stated, paragraph 32, you wanted to clarify something to the commissioners, as you indicated to us. This is the opportunity to do so. At paragraph 32, you say JM7 is a list of 55 people who were appointed without or promoted without your involvement. Correct? That's what you state in your statement.
That is correct, SC.
Having stated that, you pointed out to us that when you have proper regard to JM7 at page 50, there's a clarification you would like to make in regard to the first name there, the first appointee, and that is Director Dion Singh. And I'm giving you the opportunity to do so.
Thank you, SC.
Thank you.
When I look at this page, on page 5, MJ7.
Page 50 you meant, for
Page
the record.
50.
Yes.
MJ7. I will just pick up 2 to 3 irregularities which I could just from the onset pick up.
If I may, General, before you do so, perhaps the clarification you wanted to bring to the attention of the commissioners, were you involved in the appointment of Director Dion Singh, who appears first on that list?
That is correct, SC. I was involved in the appointment of a Director Singh.
So, if that's what you state, then your paragraph 32 is correct, but to the exclusion of Director Singh, because you were involved. Recall, you say this is a list of appointments made without your involvement.
That is correct, SC.
So what you are suggesting that you still stand by that statement, except you point out that that point does not apply to Director Singh because you were involved in his appointment.
That is correct, SC.
Having then clarified that you wanted to make a reference to about 2 other appointments on that list, you may do so.
I will go to page 50 and I look at candidate number 4.
Yes.
The positions which were advertised by that time, it could be a Director Operations and Specialized Services. But candidate number 4, you will see that that candidate, she is appointed as a Deputy Director, Internal Affairs. On the structure I've shown earlier, unfortunately we could not go down that structure. Each and every structure, there are 5 deputy chiefs. There are vacancies below those deputy chiefs. Now, they've advertised a position of a Deputy Director, Operations and Specialized Services. And then they take an employee number of a position which is with Internal Affairs and appoint that individual in the operational leg. So technically, if you wanted to fill in the position of a Director, Internal Affairs, a Deputy Director, Internal Affairs, you must advertise according to that job spec of that position of a Deputy Director, Internal Affairs. But what happened here, they've advertised directors, Deputy Director Operations and Specialized Services, and took that position which is at Internal Affairs, at Compliance, and utilize that position to appoint and place someone in operational leg. In this sense, you are disadvantaging other employees in the respective divisions.
Yes.
So that's the one I've picked up quickly.
Before you move on to the next, are you suggesting then that candidate 4 on that list was appointed to a position that was never advertised?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
SC. I look at candidate number 7.
Chief Mapiyeye, aren't you suggesting even more than that, that it's not simply she was appointed to a position that was never advertised, but that there was in fact misrepresentation of what the position is, in fact, to which he gets appointed.
That is very, very correct, Commissioner, in the sense that some employees who could be working at Internal Affairs, some of them have been acting in that position at Internal Affairs. And then you advertise this position at Operations and Specialized Services. The mind of employees, they will always think that no, they are still going to advertise this position. You find that someone doesn't apply because he knows that this is not his specialty. He is still waiting for his opportunity one day when that position is advertised so that he or she can apply. Because as I'm saying, others have been acting in those positions.
Thank you, Commissioner. You've given us one example of an irregular appointment with reference to the candidate at item 4. You wanted to give another without necessarily going through the irregularities or shortcomings of the candidates on the list. You wanted to highlight one more. Which one is that?
I will go to candidate number 8.
Yes.
Which is a chief superintendent.
Yes.
Stores. On the organigram I spoke earlier, that position rests with the deputy chief of police, auxiliary and support. Now, that position was just advertised as chief superintendent, operations and specialized services. The people who were working at stores, others were acting, some of them were still waiting that one day that position will be advertised, will apply. But then through the arrangement of Julius and Linda Kasheka, they took those positions and utilized them to appoint some of these individuals, irregularly so. Before I left, I was seated with a long list of disputes about officers who are disputing these kind of appointments.
Okay, I think the commissioners get a sense of the challenges attaching to the appointments as reflected in page 50, my apologies, page 50, except of course, to the exclusion who you say you interviewed and took part in his appointment, correct?
That's correct, Essie.
Okay,
Before you
Yes.
move on, Mr. Can we just clarify this? Chief, in the preceding paragraphs, you had said that these appointments, he would be appointed to act, this is Brigadier Mkhwanazi, would be appointed to act whenever you were absent or on leave, and you say for short periods of time. And then in 31, you then say you were on leave from the 6th to 17 May, but then in paragraph 32, where you talk about these 50 appointments, it's in the period May to July 2024. Were you on leave? Were you away in all of that time that those 55 appointments were made?
It's very important, this question, Commissioner, in the sense that during May to July 2024, I was at work, I was not on leave. So these were happening in my presence, but not being involved in these appointments, except the directors.
And the explanation, maybe you might have said it, if you have, maybe repeat it. The explanation why Brigadier Mkhwanazi could make appointments even when you were present at work is what?
I've complained about this challenge. And then I was told, I think there is also a memo, if my memory serves me well, that I cannot expect myself to be seated in all the positions, including the clerks. Yes, I'm not interested to sit. I've indicated to my boss that it doesn't mean that I want to go and sit in positions and do interviews. But I need to take part and also give guidance so that these irregularities we're talking about, they couldn't have happened. So, but they did happen, and he continued with the blessing of the city manager to do all these kind of appointments and the HOD human resource.
At this point, he was obviously not acting chief of police because you are present, right? My question is, on what authority? I hear you saying he had the blessings of the city manager, but in what capacity? Did she assign the specific functions of filling vacancies to him and thus taking them away from you? Where you have indicated in terms of that section 64.6, that's your role to do. Is there any document which delegated these powers to him away from you?
Commissioner, this was not given in writing. It was a verbal instruction that all those promotional positions which were taking place by then shall be handled by Julius Mkhwanazi. And then I responded with a memorandum to express my dissatisfaction, but regardless, the process continued.
And did the city manager say why she was assigning him the responsibility over promotional positions? Did you provide an explanation for that?
Much as I've explained to her my responsibility, she said to me, I need to worry myself only with the appointment of the next lower level, which is Deputy Chief of Police from me. I must not worry myself about lower positions below that, of which I've disagreed with her, because anything which will go wrong during that process, I will remain accountable for the outcome of all these irregular processes. But she continued, and Julius continued to do his job as instructed by the city manager.
Is there anything in your protocols in the municipalities' ways of doing things? Is there anything that prevented you from raising what seems like very serious intrusions into your statutory duty, because the power it derives from the Act? You have referred us to that section 64C. Is there anything in your protocols that prevented you bringing this to the attention of the council? This unlawful, what looks like unlawful conduct on the part of the city manager?
There has been nothing stopping me to can escalate this matter, but because things were happening at a very faster rate, before I could move on, because I had a lot of challenges in the department, there were a lot of criminalities which I'm still going to touch on. I'm not saying it was not a priority for me to go or escalate this matter, but you are swamped with a lot of other urgent activities which you need to respond as now, even after hours, with the passing of time, because this happened around May, June. In August, I was sent home. So I was suspended. So I could not then have the luxury anymore of following up all these other activities.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can I just refer you back to paragraph 6 of your statement? I wonder if you're able to clarify something for us. At paragraph 6, at page 3, you state that the EMPD reports to the Council through the Chief Executive Officer in terms of Section 64B of the SAPS Act. Earlier, you testified that that reporting by EMPD is through yourself, the executive head of EMPD. That's correct?
That is correct, Chair.
My question then is, if Section 64, capital B, prescribes that you report to Council through the Chief Executive Officer in circumstances where you are experiencing challenges with the very Chief Executive Officer, do you have an idea of how you could have your voice heard in Council? You may not know, but is it possible that you might have an idea of how you could have overcome that difficulty?
I will believe, seated here, Chair, that the only door which one is open for me in such kind of a situation is to even report to my political principal, because each and every department has got an MMC where I can then report to the MMC. The MMC can even take it up to the mayor.
Okay.
If I can pose at that.
No, I understand, and I appreciate that clarification. But then it prompts another question. Did you ever make any report of any kind concerning these matters to the MMC? Or is it a case of your shortly thereafter being suspended and didn't have the opportunity?
Before I was suspended, I once shared these challenges with my MMC, which is MMC Masuku. But I could also not find joy with the engagement we had.
Okay.
Could I further elaborate?
No, but by all means,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. I could further not find joy with whatever I was trying to advance to my political principal. I remember one of the matter we discussed on, it was also human resource related. We have got this award ceremony. If you are 10 years or 20 years or 30 years in the system, you usually get a medal for the 10 years or 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I will go back to the recruitment side as well, because I've discussed that with her. Now, in the department of about 3,000 employees, it doesn't matter whether this employee is black or white or whatever. If the employee is 40 years in the service, he has been 40 years in the service, I cannot implement affirmative action with employees who are due to get their medals. I remember that at some stage I had about 8 white officers. And then I was called to order that, hey, why don't you implement equity in your department? I tried to explain that if you are 40 years being a black officer, female or male, colored, you are 40 years in the system, you must get that medal. So it doesn't go with the issues of race that I can implement equity. Those are some of the challenges I've picked up. I've also highlighted the issues of the recruitment which I was having. But I couldn't really get help. The last day when I was about to be shown the door to go home, the MMC was there and the city manager, the ex-city manager, Dr. Mashazi, they were there, both of them. So in August, then I was suspended. I could not follow up on any other thing.
Okay. Okay, thank you. We got sidetracked a bit, I guess, because of a question posed by Commissioner Baloyi. Now, getting back to where we were, we are now at page 11 of your statement. If you have glanced at paragraphs 33 and 34, in those paragraphs you are addressing the question of how you dealt with Brigadier Mkwanazi's appointments that are set out at JM5 that you contend were irregular.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, where are we?
Page 11 of your statement. And in particular, paragraphs 33 and 34. And paragraph 33, you speak to what steps you took following Brigadier Mkwanazi's conduct in effecting these appointments. And at paragraph 34, you then deal with the city manager's response thereto. I'm inviting you to quickly take us through that.
I think, I see that I went a little bit fast forward addressing that challenge on number page 11, 33, and also the 34.
Yes.
That I did write a letter of dissatisfaction to the city manager, and she responded. I think it ought to have been annexed on JM9, the response.
Okay, let's start at JM8, which is your letter you reference at paragraph 33, and that appears at page 51 of the bigger file, the annexures file.
I've got it, Essie.
I see at page 51, it's a letter signed seemingly by you, I.J. Mapiyeye, addressed to Dr. Mashazi, city manager, and it states it's from you, it's dated the 5th of June, that's correct?
That is correct,
And
Essie.
the subject line for that letter is disregard and non-observance of Municipal Police Commissioner in the EMPD by Deputy Municipal Commissioner J.D. Mkwanazi.
That is correct, Essie.
Perhaps you might want to highlight what you raised in that letter to
The letter
the
reads
city manager.
as follows. Subsequent the meeting which set on Monday, the 3rd of June 2024, in the office of the city manager, in attendance was the HOD Human Resource, Deputy Municipal Police Commissioner J.D. Mkwanazi, where issues of disrespect were highlighted. What is sought is to bring your attention as the accounting officer to the recent promotional positions which took place within the department of brigadier, or within the department, positions of brigadier, colonels, lieutenant colonels, superintendents, and inspectors, respectively. It is legislated under Section 64C 2B of SAPS Act 68, 1995, and a common practice that when employees are promoted in the department, as the Municipal Police Commissioner must confer the promotional ranks to the successful or promoted workforce. To my dismay and surprise, I observed on the 4th of June 2024, members of the department wearing their promotional ranks. When probing, I was informed that they were conferred by the Deputy Commissioner. I will reiterate that same was executed without my permission, no engagement by the Deputy. Your intervention will be greatly appreciated in remedying this emerging practice within a policing department, where command and control is paramount in the reporting structure.
You then, at paragraph 34, reference a document you've marked JM9 that appears at page 52 of the annexes file. And at paragraph 34, you say this is the city manager's response to the letter you've just read into the record. Is that correct?
That is correct, Essie.
And you state in your paragraph 34 that in this letter she pointed out that all my powers in terms of section 64 capital C of the SAPS Act are to be exercised subject to her directives as the chief executive officer. You see where you state that.
I could see that.
Now, with that in mind, please have regard then to JM9 at page 52, and I would like you to read items 4 and 5 of that letter.
JM9, what paragraph?
Starts at page 52. I'm directing you to paragraphs 4 and 5.
Thank you, Essie. Commissioners, this reads as follows. The heading is disregard. Okay, it was the response of Dr. Mashazi,
Yes.
who was the city manager to me. She then indicated the heading was disregard, non-observance of police municipal commissioner in the EMPD by Deputy Municipal Commissioner J.D. Mkwanasi. Your letter dated the 5th of June 2024 refers, I have considered the content and respond as follows.
Chief, I apologize, yes, that is the opening paragraph of that letter. But specifically, I would like to confine you to paragraphs 4 and 5, or items 4 and 5 of that letter.
Okay.
In the context of what you say in your paragraph 34 of the statement.
Thank you, Essie.
Yes.
Paragraph 4, it states that I agree that Section 64C provides for the appointment of the executive head, which is your assumed position. That's my position as an executive head. However, all processes and powers provided to the executive head in terms of Section 64C, more especially subsection B, must be exercised subject to the directive of the chief executive, i.e. me as an accounting officer. All appointments in the department are also subject to council and HR policies and processes. It is also generally recognized in the city that HODs, same level as you occupied, are more involved in the department of their direct reports.
I think it's appointment.
Appointment of their direct reports, i.e., generally the divisional heads in your department, the deputy chief of police positions, divisional heads, thereby Deputy Chief of Police, then processes the further HR processes to fill in vacancies in each division. Of course, the head of the department, including you, must be consulted in all the appointments to the extent that it is never permissible to intervene when not included in the shortlisting and appointment process. Once the position is filled after the HR processes and pertinent to EMPD, the national standards to SAPS Act 1 September 2020 addresses other matters.
Thank you. Do you agree, do you hold the same view as she expresses at paragraph 4 and 5 as regards your powers as granted by section 67 capital C? Do you hold the same understanding of the meaning of section 64C as she has expressed in this letter at items 4 and 5? In other words, do you agree with what she says?
I disagree with that because these powers which I'm exercising as an executive head
Yes.
have been given by the Act.
Now, in your statement at paragraph 35, you say the city manager was deliberately misrepresenting facts with reference to that letter, and you continue to state that never in the history of the EMPD have deputy chiefs ever appointed anyone. Do you stand by that statement? Is that a correct statement that you make? She seems to have a view that you appoint deputy chiefs, and thereafter, in terms of the system or the law, deputy chiefs are responsible for the appointment of anyone else below them.
I disagree with that.
And you say never in the history of the EMPD has the system operated in that fashion.
That is correct.
I take it that the history of the EMPD, at least, is for the time you have spent at EMPD.
That is correct, SC.
And that would be a total of how many years?
25 years in EMPD, though in the profession I'm now 42 years.
Okay. Now that she holds, you complained about these appointments, she responded to you expressing the views that she has and an interpretation that she attaches to the relevant section. What became of these appointments? Did she intervene? Were they reconsidered, reversed, anything?
The employees who were even irregularly appointed, they are still seated in those positions with a lot of disputes and grievances in the department.
So effectively, you are saying the city manager, notwithstanding your objection to Brigadier Mkwana's conduct in these appointments, she did not cause for those appointments to be reviewed or reversed.
That is correct, SC. I know other cases are at arbitration. Some employees have taken this matter to arbitration and at various different levels, okay, which I'm not afraid currently as I'm not around at work.
Now, this communication between yourself and the city manager takes place over 2 days, the 5th of June, 2024, that's your letter, JM 8, and then her response is dated the 6th of June, and that's JM 9. At paragraph 37, you speak about what happened shortly at, I guess, at 37, page 11.
Thanks, Commissioners. On page 11, 37, I've stated there that shortly after I was placed on leave by the city manager on the 25th September 2024.
Yes.
I deal with this particular suspension in more details and others further in this statement.
Is being placed on leave and being, or rather are being placed on leave and being suspended one and the same thing?
Thank you, Commissioner. I think it's a typo. I was suspended from work.
Thank you.
As we are sitting here today, do you remain suspended?
I remain.
Sorry, my mic was off. I have to repeat the question. As we are sitting here today, I think it's a year and close to 2 months later. Are you still on suspension?
That is correct, Commissioner. I'm still on suspension.
Yes, Commissioner Balo.
Chief Mapiyeye, that letter, which is the response from the city manager, is dated the 7th of June. And then in paragraph 7 thereof, she says, in considering the content of your letter, I am concerned that there may have been oversight in certain processes as you outline, and recognizing both our roles and responsibilities as regards the municipal police services, I believe that going forward we should avoid any ambiguity on common practice by drafting a policy to specifically address the unique position at EMPD. And then she thanks you. She says, I thank you for drawing this situation to my attention, which suggests that she may this may have been oversight indeed, and kindly request that, or that she may not have been aware of all of this, and kindly request that you commence the drafting of the policy to address such matters. And that's what I'm interested in. Did you commence the process of drafting the policy? It is in June that she says this to you. And by the time you're suspended, is there such a policy in place?
Thank you, Commissioner. I think this letter, her response was dated the 7th of June, 2024. I did not commence with any policy because I've explained to her that we are guided by the SAPS Act, issues of recruitment and discipline. How do we deal with police members? So I couldn't have crafted another policy which will run parallel with the city's policy. So I could not. And even if I could have thought of something doing consultation with other metros, time was pushing me to go home in August. Because in August, this was in June, July. In August, I then started to receive unpleasant news about myself on national TV about sexual harassment issues. So I had no time anymore to kind of think about what then needs to be happening with maybe a memorandum, because I was now moving towards the suspension, which finally took place in September. So I did not, in short.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Commissioner. Through you, Chief Mapiyeye, and just for purposes of record, when Commissioner Baloyi referred you to this particular response by the city manager, if you look at page 53, you see across her signature, by hand she's dated it the 7th of June, 2024. Do you see that?
That is correct, SC.
Okay. If you go to page 52, the start of that letter, before the subject line, the typed date is the 6th of June, 2024. I draw this to your attention because when I refer to this particular annexure, I use the date appearing on page 52, and Commissioner Baloyi used the date appearing handwritten at page 53. I just need you to confirm for the record that we're talking about the same document, notwithstanding the conflict in dates.
That is correct, Commissioner. That's the same document.
Thank you. We then move on, Chief, to your next chapter, and this starts at page 12 of your statement. You've headed it Criminality within EMPD. Are you there in your statement?
I'm there, SC.
You have an introductory paragraph under that heading, and thereafter you have a subheading. Can you quickly take us through the introductory paragraph at paragraph 38?
Okay, EMPD has, through some of its senior members, here we have picked up that some of our senior members were involved in blatant criminal acts and disregard of law. I will enumerate this below under specific headings for the benefit of the Commission.
Thank you. And then you proceed to deal with matters under specific subheadings, the first being what you call the blue light saga.
That is correct.
You deal with this from paragraph 39, and you deal with it fairly extensively. So if you could, we could start at paragraph 39, and we'll work our way through your statement. Thank you.
Thank you, SC. The headlight there, it's a blue light saga. During or about February 2023, the EMPD received an inquiry from a journalist, Mr. Jeff Weeks, regarding the use of blue lights in civilian vehicles, with the seeming approval of EMPD. At the time of this inquiry, I was on leave, and the Deputy Chief of Police, Auxiliary and Support Services, that is Commissioner Revo Spies, who was appointed as the Acting Chief of Police in my absence, took charge of this inquiry and initiated investigation into the allegations with immediate effect by the time when I received it, because it was on the media. There is an attachment which is J10 and a copy of his appointment letter also in this regard. That was Commissioner Spies who was acting. And then bullet number 40, in summary, the allegation was that Brigadier Mkhwanazi had, amongst others, unlawfully authorized the installation of blue lights in the vehicles in question. The vehicles in question were said to belong to CAT VIP security. Such installation will be unlawful as the use of blue light is, in terms of the National Road Traffic Act 93 of 1996, restricted for the use by law enforcement services, that is SAPS, Metro Police Officers, Traffic Officers, and South African National Defence Force, that is military police. So the use of blue light is only restricted to those. And upon my return from leave, Commissioner Spies made a report to me on this matter, advising that flowing from his investigation, he had referred the matter to the Internal Affairs Unit in the Compliance Division, as well as to the Independent Investigative Directorate for Investigation and Recommendation. He further advised that he had, on the 3rd of March, also opened a criminal case against Brigadier Mkhwanazi for fraud and corruption arising from these facts at the police station in Boksburg. It is my understanding that Brigadier Mkhwanazi denied having installed these lights. He, however, insisted that the EMPD maintain a formal working relationship with CAT VIP Services Company, owned by Mr. Madlanga, on the basis of which certain vehicles were donated to EMPD. He submitted, in support of his claim, the following documents. These were submitted to the acting chief. An alleged memorandum of agreement concluded with Medicare 24 during 2021. A copy of his document is annexed MJ11. An alleged memorandum of agreement concluded with CAT VIP protection during 2021. A copy of this document is annexed JM12.
Okay, and now those two documents, JM11 and JM12, appear in your big file, starting at page 55. That would be JM11. And you say that is an alleged memorandum of agreement concluded by Brigadier Mkhwanazi with Medicare 24 during 2021.
That is correct, SC.
And if one has regard to page 124, it reflects as follows: agreement entered into and between the Ekuruleni Metropolitan Police Department, and it doesn't indicate as represented by who, and Medicare Emergency Medical Services / UNABIS Protection Services. Is that correct?
That is correct, SC.
Maybe a correction. You said page 124. Your pagination is page 55.
Page 55, I apologize. That's what happens when there's recycling of documents. I do apologize. It's page 55. You confirm that's how page 55 reads.
That is correct, SC.
Now, if we skip the content of the agreement itself and go to page 60, you will see at the bottom of the body of that contract, the end of that contract or agreement, at page 60, it has got under effective date 10/2021.
That is correct, SC.
And then there is a signature above a name, J.D. Mkhwanazi, Director, Specialized Services.
That is correct, SC.
And I see above that in a box, a choice is made between support, not support. A choice seems to be supported.
That is correct, SC.
Am I reading this document correctly, your JM11, therefore, that it starts off with the support of J.D. Mkhwanazi as Director, Specialized Services?
That is correct, SC.
I see that on the same page, there was space for approval by Jim Zolo, Deputy Chief of Police Operations and Specialized Services, but that space remains unsigned.
That is correct, SC.
And overleaf at 61, it then concludes with provision for signature by Mapiyeye, Chief of Police, EMPD. Is that you?
That is correct, SC.
And equally so, it is unsigned.
That is correct, SC.
Do you confirm that you did not sign this document?
That is correct. I did not sign this agreement.
Now, if we continue then and go to the next annexure, which is JM12, that starts at page 62.
Maybe before you do that, can I
Yes,
just check?
Commissioner.
Chief Mapiyeye, do you know if Mr. Mzolo ever knew anything about this? Did you inquire from him?
Commissioner, this document was never brought to me. So usually the protocol is that if Brigadier Mkhwanazi signed it, he was going to take it to the Deputy Chief of Police, Mr. Mzolo, and then Mr. Mzolo was then going to come to me and explain to me. Then I sign or not support, and in fact I was not going to support because this is not a process we are supposed to be following.
It would have gone, I mean, this where he signs, Mr. Mkhwanazi, it says Director Specialized Services, so he was not yet Deputy Chief of Police at the time.
That is correct. He was not a Deputy Chief of Police.
And was Mr. Mzolo his direct superior?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. I invite us then to turn to page JM 12, which is the second memorandum of agreement you deal with at your paragraph 43.2, and that starts at page 62. Have you located it, Chief?
I've located it, SC.
This particular document is headed Memorandum of Agreement. Apologize. Memorandum of Agreement entered into and between the Ekuruleni Metropolitan Police Department and CAT VIP Protection, and indicates under CAT VIP Protection, in parentheses, duly represented by Vusimusi Matlala. Do you see that?
I can see that here, SC.
And this agreement runs to page 65.
That is correct, SC.
And if we start at page 64 thereof, once again, at the bottom of the page, after the body of the agreement, is a space for signature by a J.D. Mkhwanazi, Director Special Services, and it is signed. Do you see that?
That is correct, SC.
This particular memorandum now has a date inserted by hand across to the right, across from the signature, and it's dated 13/10/2021.
That is correct, SC.
And similar with the previous document, there is an indication at a choice whether to support or not support that it is supported. There is a tick in the support box.
That is correct, SC. Though what I'm observing on page 64,
Yes.
where the brigadier signed, the date was the 13th of October 2021.
Yes.
And on next page, page 65, where Mr. Vusimuzi Matlala was supposed to have signed, the date was put 15 June 2022.
Yes, you're correct. I confirm that's how it reads.
Yes, I just want to highlight that.
Yes. Then, staying with page 65, I see after the signature by the Director Specialized Services, Brigadier Mkhwanazi, it required approval because it's got two options of approve and not approve, as indicated in the boxes at the start of that page. And immediately below that is a space for signature, and under that line is Mr. Vusimusi Matlala, Chief Executive Officer, CAT VIP Protection. And to the right of that, it's dated 15 June 2022. For the record, it appears not to have been signed by the intended Mr. Matlala. Do you confirm?
That is correct, SC.
Now, this particular memorandum, as opposed to the previous one we considered JM11, does not appear to require support by Mr. Mzolo, which is Brigadier Mkhwanazi's direct superior, nor your support as the Chief of Police. I don't see provision for your support or approval. Do you confirm?
That is correct, SC.
And page 65 actually represents the last page of that memorandum of agreement.
That is correct, I see.
Although, of course, right at the end, the document appears to have envisaged some approval by whoever. No indication is given as to who the last approver would have been or should have been. Do you see the hanging approved, not approved right at the bottom?
I could see that, Commissioner.
Yeah. And would a document of this nature have taken the form of somebody like Mr. Vusimuzi Matlala, the chief executive of the company, having to approve? Is that not rather odd that he would have approved?
I couldn't learn that clear, Chair.
I'm saying, look where Mr. Matlala is supposed to sign.
Yes.
There as well, he is also supposed to approve. So my question is it not odd that he would have had to also approve?
It is odd, Commissioner, because
Should he not simply have been a signatory together with whoever would have been signing within the municipality, and then some municipal official approving after the two signatories?
regardless,
Yes.
regardless, Commissioner, this is not the process which the city follows when it receives donation from any company or service provider.
All right.
This is not even the process.
All right. Thank you.
Still on this document, Chief Mapiyeye, the only signatory on behalf of the municipality or the EMPD is on this document is Mr. Mkwanazi, who at the time is still a director. If you leave aside then the idea that Mr. Matala could approve on behalf of the municipality, did Mr. Mkwanazi as director have authority, would he have had authority to conclude this kind of transaction with an external company, but just by virtue of his position?
Commissioner, not at all, because this is also a process which is not followed by the city of Ekuruleni when you receive donations from a service provider or an external company. This is not even the process.
What is the process? If this were a proper donation or offer of services and vehicles by Ket Matala Security, what would have been the process?
Through you, Commissioner Baloyi, Chief Mapiyeye, it would appear that Commissioner Baloyi is way ahead of you. So perhaps, no, he can deal with it, it's in the statement, so I said perhaps we jump to that part so he can answer your question in full.
I don't want to mess up your flow. I would rather you lead him the way you wanted to.
I would be happy to no challenge.
Okay.
All
right.
Chief Mapiyeye, if you could have regard to your paragraph 52 at page 16, starting from the second sentence of that paragraph.
Page 16.
Paragraph 52.
Paragraph 52.
The second sentence of that paragraph, starting in any event.
In any event, there is no evidence that the claimed donation complies with the municipality's grants, donations, sponsorships, and gifts policy, which prescribe that all donations or sponsorships offered to the municipality must be submitted to the city manager for approval and declared to the National Treasury.
Thank you. Does that answer your question, Commissioner Bala? Thank you.
I have a different question, Advocate Silo.
Yes, Commissioner.
Chief, these two documents, the two memoranda, the second one on page 131.
No, you're using the wrong numbering again, like me.
Oh, sorry, it's page 62.
Yes.
JM 12. It appears to envisage not just a donation of vehicles, but a skills transfer and tactical training of EMPD officials by CAT Protection Services. So if you look at the paragraph on page 63, top of the page, do you see that?
I could see that.
So it
Commissioner.
says CAT VIP will donate motor vehicles to Ekhuruleni Metro Police Department and provide their staff members with skills transfer and tactical training. Now, you having been chief of the EMPD at that time, could such an arrangement be concluded without your knowledge or approval?
It is not supposed to happen. I'm supposed to be knowing if there is any service provider who want to render such services to us. And I will have then to follow the right processes to get that service provider on board.
But you say these are the documents, Brigadier Mkwanazi, he was not brigadier at the time, but these are the documents he produced to justify the reason why CAT Protection Services was using the blue lights.
That is correct, Chair.
He said because there were these MOUs between CAT Protection Services and EMPD.
That is correct, Chair. We only managed to pick that up immediately after the media query.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo. Getting back then to your statement at paragraph 44, having considered these memoranda, both of them, JM 11 and JM 12, you draw certain conclusions. At page 13, paragraph 44. Please wait a moment, Chief Mapiyeye. Yes, Commissioner.
Sorry to take you back.
No, quite in order.
There's quite a bit to go through, so one has to go back and forth. In the first memorandum, it's about provision of services which include drawing blood and at roadblocks. To the extent that this discussion now is about blue lights under that heading, that's why we're having that discussion. If you go to page 60,
Yes.
there's that last bullet point, and I was checking whether we have heard anything about it. At page 60.
Page 60, correct?
The last bullet point. And perhaps you should read, because this is where the question about why there are vehicles that have blue lights is
Yes.
addressed in the memorandum. Can the witness read that into the record, perhaps?
It's absolutely important. Chief Mapiyeye, you remember we were dealing with these two sets of agreements, JM 11 and JM 12.
That is correct. See.
Commissioner Baloyi is inviting you to JM 11 again, which starts at page 55 of your big file.
I am there, as
And just to orientate you, this particular memorandum is between Ekuruleni Metropolitan Police Department and Medicare Emergency Medical Services. You see that?
That's correct, I see.
Now, she refers you in particular to page 60, if you could go there.
Maybe before that, Chief Mapiyeye, if you could go to page 58 of that same document, and then there's paragraph 3 there which tells us what is the purpose of this document, and read that into the record first.
Thank you, Commissioner. On page 58, the purpose of this Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, is to outline the commitment of promoting and protection of the Medicare emergency services, combining that with the health care and safety of officers of Ekuruleni Police Department when a situation arises warranting medical attention on various degrees, particularly in traumatic event incidents. That's bullet number 3.
Yes. And then if you would then go to page 60, maybe start with the heading. Read what the heading says you are agreeing to as a municipality, and then you can skip the other bullet points and then go to the last bullet point.
Commissioner, you said I must go to page
60.
60.
60. It's that signature page.
Okay, I've got it.
And then read that heading into the record.
Ekuruleni Police Department, by signing this MOU, Ekuruleni Police Department agrees to
And then the last bullet point.
EMPD will assist with the registration of vehicles under EMPD as official vehicles, and we will be permitted to use blue and red lights to respond for and on behalf of EMPD. The cost of this will be for the Medicare 24 Cannabis Protection Services.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm quite aware of the time, that it's lunch, but just not to interrupt this flow of questions, may I perhaps ask the witness to deal with 2 other aspects, then we close the subject. Mr. Mapiyeye, please go back to page 59 of the same document.
I've got to see.
This is the heading of that page is understandings. And the opening paragraph thereof reads, by signing this MOA, Medicare 24 Emergency Services agrees to. Do you see that? And then it...
That is correct, I see.
Okay. I would like you to read items 4, 5, and 6 into the record, please.
Item 4, Medicare 24 Cannabis Protection Services can assist when needed. All members are registered with SIRA and are issued firearms through our VIP protection unit that are owned by the Medicare 24 holdings.
Yes.
The number 5, the CEO's health qualifications and legal degree can assist when needed in an event of a drug bust, and I can give legal advice where needed. Number 6, Medicare 24 can assist with drawing blood in roadblocks for you, and staff will be available.
Now, having read those 4 items under the heading understandings, the 3 rather, 3, 5, 6, what Medicare 24 is undertaking to do here, does that accord with the law as the EMPD understands it? Can Medicare undertake the services listed there?
I cannot allow it under my watch because the law doesn't allow it as well.
Okay, when we dealt with Annexure JM12, we indicated who represented VIP CAT services. We overlooked doing so in respect of JM11, this particular annexure we're dealing with. Could you go back to page 55 and just read into the record who represented Medicare 24 Emergency Medical Services / Cannabis Protection Services in the conclusion of this agreement. It's set out in the parentheses below the name of the entity.
On page 55, Medicare 24, that is Emergency Medical Service, Cannabis Protection Services, duly represented by Mike van Wyk.
Thank you. Thank you for the indulgence, Chair. I shall not detain the commissioners any further.
Let us adjourn and resume at 2:05.
Thank you, Chair.